Hello, one and all, and welcome back to Let's Watch Death Battle. I am the Max Few Trades, and today's episode is gonna be a weird one. It's Dio versus Alucard. It's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure versus Hellsing, and I have no strong feelings towards this at all. It is, I don't know if it's going to be a major surprise to any of you out there, but, I'm incredibly middle of the road for this one. It's interesting because this is one of those episodes that I've heard talked about for like forever. And throughout all my years when I worked on the show, it was also a thing that, you know, it was always going to be a thing that happened at some point. We never got around to it, but now they finally have. But back then and now, I kinda don't really have much of a horse in the race, if I'm being honest with you. Unlike everyone else on the internet, I never got into JoJo at all. I tried watching some of it. I know before, I've said this before in like comments and stuff, so I need to be incredibly clear. I tried watching some of part 1. I've tried watching some of part 3, and I don't remember which one the other one was. But the one with Jotaro, and I'm pretty sure that isn't part 3. Regardless, or is it? I don't know. Point is, I've tried watching a couple different variants of the show, and it's just not really something for me. And I never watched Hellsing either, but that's more so due to the fact that I'm not a big fan of horror or gore and blood. And I'm aware of how incredibly weird and ironic of a statement that is, all things considered, because, you know, I watch Death Battle and everything. So, I get that probably is going to sound a little more strange. But yeah, I have no real strong feelings here. And it's a really weird feeling, because usually I'm either at least mildly to majorly hyped, or I'm kind of annoyed by an episode's existence. Just like for this season alone, you know, like we had Blake and Mikasa, and we had Poe and Iron Fist, and we had Geese and Hayachi, and I was pretty hyped for all of those. Those were some good times. I was really looking forward to those. And even for episodes like Luther Doom and Iron Man Batman, I could at least, you know, gesture wildly and be very confused as to why the episodes were existing in the first place, considering how one-sided they still totally were. But, with this one, for the longest time, I kind of figured from the bare minimum of the things that I'd heard over the years. I have seen some, not all, of Hellsing Abridged, but that's not a really great place to. It's a decent place to find out some stuff about Alucard, but it's obviously still a very large parody. So, just from the mild something I knew about both, I was gunning for Alucard on this one because it seemed like he was just way more of a spectacle than Dio was. But then, man, you know, it's crazy seeing how certain people react to these things, because the internet, at least all of the people who bet on these things, I don't know if they bet actually, but you know, everybody seems dead, absolute 100% certain that Dio wins this, which I think is a bit of a shame, because while neither seem like nice guys, it's, from everything I've heard, it appears as if Dio is a monumentally larger scumbag. So if he does end up winning, that's going to be kind of a bummer, because I always like seeing jackasses get their comeuppance, but, you know, karma doesn't really amount for a whole lot in Death Battle, as it turns out. So I did some cursory research into things just to see. And I looked into some other things that other people said and came up with. It's important to look at some opinions, but also, you know, look into things your own and make sure everything makes sense to you personally. So it appears as if the main thing is Dio, I guess, well, I'll find out soon enough, is stronger and faster by at least some degree. By how much, I don't know. I've never been a math guy, but it seems to be that way. Whereas I think Alucard is just harder to kill. So there's all of that. So I tried to get into thinking, well, okay, because I think Alucard, one of his biggest things is he can just constantly regenerate because he's stolen souls. So I thought, okay, so how could a guy be able to basically last long enough? Because you basically have to kill him a bunch to the degree of which I'm not sure, but you basically have to murder him like about a bajillion times or something. So I was trying to think how that could be possible for Dio to overcome, and then I found, it didn't take long to find, basically the dude can completely replenish his strength, stamina, and his entire body through blood. He's a vampire, but he's not a vampire, something to that effect. But the point is, they're both vampires. It's a Halloween episode, you know, basically. So when he drinks the blood, he heals himself. And from what I can tell, through a combination of being at least mildly stronger and faster, and even if he wasn't faster, he could stop time for a while, that's kind of a big deal. So, theoretically, if he's always able to get a hit in on him, because apparently he can drink through his fingers, doesn't need to actually bite him, which is much more convenient, because it's easier to, you know, than to actually get into a bite. I don't know why I'm miming these things. So, basically my theory is, and I imagine, I guess this is probably what other people are coming to the conclusion to. There's probably a whole lot more to it, that it doesn't really matter how many lives he has, because if Dio is stronger and faster, then he could always just replenish any damage that Alucard could do. At least that's what it looks like to me. But I don't know if that's the way they're gonna go. So I honestly have no idea. I have no idea. I guess I'll just be swayed by the masses on this one, because like I said, I don't have a lot of horses here, so let's just watch a vampire fight, eh? That sounds like a good time. Let's do that. Alrighty, let's go.
Dio Brando, everlasting adversary of the Joestar bloodline. Alucard, undying.
Well, to the best of my knowledge, I'm pretty sure he did die in canon.
The spawn of nightmares formed from the
Last I checked.
Demented imagination.
Anime. Basically the same thing. What do you get when you combine them? Two of the meanest monsters out there. He's
You know,
Boomstick and I'm Boomstick.
people are gonna take you seriously when you say that, right? You already know that all those people out there seem to think you have an anime bias against it. That's not gonna help.
Imagine, if you can, someone so wicked that the sheer
They know what they're doing.
magnitude of their unholy dickishness literally destroyed the universe.
You might think they'd have to be no less than the devil himself, but it was him, Dio.
Born a penniless street rat with a cunning mind in the slums of Victorian London, Dio was
His age is 1, 2, 3.
by his poverty
Neat.
and abused by his alcoholic father.
His bitter resentment and small dick energy would lead to a lifelong desire for ultimate power and immortality.
Don't hear that often.
Place over heaven.
And he'd get his chance to act when he was adopted into the wealthy Joestar family. Dio planned to kill his new father, George Joestar, and take his
Gotta
fortune
pose,
for
it's
himself.
JoJo.
Only one thing stood in his way, his new brother, Jonathan Joestar, aka Jojo.
Ah!
Go all out
He said the thing.
JoJo by engaging in such classic sibling pranks as beating him up, molesting his girlfriend, and setting his dog on fire. Jesus, you give that creep.
Okay, well I knew about the first two things. I didn't know about the third one. Wow.
Emotional manipulation.
Jesus.
The twisted assassination plot was foiled by his righteous stepbrother.
Yay.
From the interfering speedwagon, all seemed lost until Dio pulled out his plan B.
I think he stole his body?
Turned him into a vampire. That's just bizarre.
Okay,
Hey.
so he's not technically a vampire like, say, Dracula. Instead of turning you into
I'm sure they'll get to it.
a demon, the stone mask eliminates your body's natural limitations.
Making him way stronger.
And gives you vampire-like powers, apparently.
He can hear a heartbeat through the ground, fly through the air, and hypnotize you with just a glance.
Oh, lovely.
It gets weirder. Dio can create mind-controlling flesh buds from his hair follicles.
Ew.
Rise the moisture in his body to freeze anything he touches.
Neat.
Fire beams of pressurized fluids that can split the sky.
Pressurized fluids.
It's not even a laser, it's just, it's liquid. That's interesting, okay.
More insane is Dio's healing factor. He's been burnt alive, impaled through the head, bisected, decapitated, lost limbs, filled with bullets, and had a huge hole punched in his chest. Not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Excessive!
Similar vampire, Straight, survived being blown to
You'd think after the first 2 times they'd try to find another way.
together.
All Dio needs is some blood to speed up the process. So he is basically a vampire.
Yeah.
So I guess the fangs are just for decoration because he sucks blood through his fingers. Ugh.
Ugh.
Dio used his powers to raise a zombie army
No thanks.
to conquer the world and feed a baby to its own mother. Just for kicks.
We've had a lot of real pieces of shit on this show, Wiz, but I'm starting to think Dio takes the cake. Luckily, his plans were foiled.
Okay, that actually kind of made me grossed out. Wow.
With a martial art that uses
Okay.
the power of the sun. Hamon.
Because should Dio's vampire body be subjected to sunlight, he will instantly disintegrate.
So, what did Dio do? Well, he cut off his own head, killed Jonathan on his wedding night, and attached his head to JoJo's body. Wow, cake taken for sure.
After a brief
Okie dokie. At least I was right. He did take his body. I didn't realize he
to take over the world.
cut it off and put it on.
Was to create a world where everyone knew their own fate and could make peace with the inevitable tragedies life had in store. In Dio's mind, heaven.
And he'd make it happen no matter how many breads he'd have to eat.
After being
Oh.
struck by a mystical arrow, sure, why not?
Memes.
Dio gained a stand, the embodiment of a user's life force. Since they're made of psychic energy, stands can only be seen by stand users and can only be hurt by other stands. Quite the obstacle for any opponent lacking similar abilities.
Ow. Hey, Wiz, I got a stand. I call it 99 bottles. Oh shit! Don't worry, Wiz. I'll change you back with your Ooh, look, a giant beer.
As befits a god among men,
He has clones. He has clones.
powerful stands in history
Jay.
with its ability to stop time.
Time, huh? Thanks for the ow. Well, not only does his time stop get longer with each use, he can spam it as much as.
Okay, that's funny.
He's a massive troll.
The world is
I deeply appreciate that joke.
able to match the stand Star Platinum, which belongs to Jonathan's great-great-grandson, Jotaro Kujo. He technically inherited it from Dio through Jonathan's body and bloodline, making Star Platinum and the world the same stand.
And both are two of the
Alright.
strongest stands out there, just as strong.
Sounds
as
legit.
Three, which can punch meteors that were pulled to Earth in seconds.
By measuring the distance the meteors are
I know that stands are named after songs, basically. That's why 99 bottles. That's a funny joke. I like that. Just saying.
Each have a kinetic energy of 441 kilotons of TNT.
Not that crazy when you can throw punches that are faster than light. No, really, Star Platinum kept up with this stand, Silver Chariot, which could cut a beam of light.
Looking at the
As you do.
Chariot's sword swung relative to the light beam, it must have moved over 1,500 times the speed of light.
Dang.
Dio himself has matched Star Platinum on his own and taken its punches head on.
Ow.
Yeah, but that's nothing compared to Dio's secret weapon, the greatest weapon in anime history. The Steamroller. Turns out Dio's a hell of a chef. He can make pancakes and donuts.
Even so,
Ow.
despite having a massive god complex,
Yeah.
Dio's still a careful tactician capable of exploiting an opponent's weaknesses.
Too bad he wasn't prepared for Jotaro to learn how to stop time too and murder the shit out of him. That's some hardcore karma right there. But it only makes sense that a dog murderer would die like a bitch.
But much like the machinations
Damn.
of great and terrible men, Dio's will was immortal. In time, his greatest follower succeeded in extinguishing the Joestar bloodline and literally remaking the universe in Dio's image,
Oh.
creating that heaven he always dreamed of.
I guess when you're named after a rock star, a movie star, and, oh, that's right, God, you're pretty much bound for greatness.
You thought your first kiss would be JoJo, but it was I, Dio.
What else were they gonna use?
How
I think they got all of the memes.
lives have no
Nah, I'm kidding. There's like 50,000 of them.
Although the world seems full of good men, there are monsters in it.
But don't worry, jolly old England has it covered with the Helsing organization.
Founded by famous vampire hunter Abraham Van Helsing and led by his descendant Integra, this secret
I know the basics.
institution has saved the world time and again with their secret weapon.
And what better weapon to hunt vampires than with one of their...
It's kind of crazy that Helsing basically
The bird of Hermes,
has
Alucard.
Dracula as an agent of his. That's pretty neat.
Mystery. But under Helsing's employ, he was molded into an elite hunter, made even more vicious by his intense hatred of his fellow vampire kind.
A hatred that he expresses with two of the gnarliest...
Not 100% sure why, but I'm sure there's a reason.
God to never see in person.
Alucard's primary sidearm is
Big ol' guns.
a behemoth of a handgun able to kill most undead in one shot with holy bullets that can nullify a vampire's healing factor.
The Jackal is the handgun she told you not to worry about. 16 inches long and weighing 35 pounds. It's armor piercing.
That's ever so slightly excessive, I think.
In blessed Macedonian silver, we're built to annihilate the toughest monsters.
And after decades of clandestine
Gory stuff.
Helsing enhanced Alucard's vampiric abilities far beyond the norm.
Alucard can walk through walls, cast illusions, levitate, and move objects with his mind. Objects like, say, an ocean of over 3 million people's blood? That'd be an energy worth.
Yeah, but I don't think doing that would be a good idea.
Prowess allows him to read minds, communicate telepathically, hypnotize with a glance, and see through hallucinations with his third eye.
He's not a Triclops. It's more of a sixth sense that lets him hit bullseyes from a kilometer away and even predict your movements. Kinda like the Sharon gun.
Of course, he wouldn't
I
be
guess.
a real vampire if he couldn't drink blood.
Which came first?
The catch is, when he drinks enough blood to kill you, he literally absorbs your soul. And that right there is the source of his most fearsome ability.
You just can't kill the sumbitch. Shoot him into Swiss cheese, blow his ass to smithereens, turn him into a literal blood puddle. He'll just regenerate his body lickety-split. Like, we've seen some overpowered healing factors on this show before, but Alucard's is just bullshit.
While he does possess blood and organs like a regular human, Alucard's body is
Boomstick's bringing out the A game for this episode.
shadow-like substance that he can morph any way he wants. This allows him to shapeshift and instantly heal any wound. And each soul Alucard has consumed acts as an extra life that he can spend whenever he's fatally injured. Kind of like a video game.
And after
Neat.
500 years of unlife, Alucard has consumed literally millions of souls. What up?
Again with this?
More beer.
Just like me.
What up? Helsing.
Okay, so he has clones and he's consumed souls?
Millennium, aka Nazi vampires. That's like evil squared.
Like
Yeah, a little bit.
Lieutenant Rip Van Winkle commandeered a British aircraft carrier as part of an invasion of London.
Alucard didn't like that very much, so he jackknifed it with an SR-71 Blackbird at Mach 3.
A fully loaded Blackbird weighs 170,000 pounds.
Okay.
Meaning it's struck with a kinetic energy of 11 tons of TNT. That's as powerful as the U.S. Massive Ordnance Air Blast.
AKA the mother of all bombs.
Okay.
In the middle of that and strolled out like it was nothing.
Just as impressive as intercepting Rip's magic bullets. Comparing the distance one bullet moved to the jet in the same time frame as
Listening.
the jet's own movement, each bullet would have to be moving at 1,500 times the speed of sound.
And Alucard caught one with his friggin' teeth. And after giving Rip's name a new meaning,
Any faster?
moved that aircraft carrier back to shore with his mind to fight two separate armies at the same time. What a goddamn monster!
It goes without saying,
Okay.
Alucard's immense power and bloodlust needed to be.
Does he go faster? Because that's not light.
Were placed on him that he can release against dangerous opponents.
Levels 6 through 2 are for wrecking your ordinary ghouls. Level 1 is for your heavy-duty vampires, and for getting this gnarly demon doggo made from his shadow essence, Baskerville.
But there exists
A-
an even greater state of power Alucard can release when he wants to end the world. Level 0.
Once activated, Level 0 releases every single soul Alucard has consumed as a sea of blood-soaked zombies. All 3 million of them.
Sure, with his soul's gone, he can't heal as easily, and if his heart is destroyed, he'll die permanently.
Oh.
The sheer numbers and power of this army from hell makes him virtually impossible
Oh.
to reach in the first place.
He's unstoppable. This guy's got to be like the king of all vampires.
Okay.
Indeed, he is. Helsing purposely kept Alucard's true identity a secret.
I getcha. I see where this is going.
Alucard backwards is
Dracula? Yeah, duh, Wiz. Idiot.
over 500
Rude.
years ago. The Wallachian voivode Vlad Dracula battled the Ottoman Turks for control over Eastern Europe and impaled thousands of people in the process. Hence his historical name,
Vlad the
Vlad the
Impaler.
Impaler.
Yeah.
But
I get you.
didn't end up too good for him. Right before his execution, he took a big old sip of some blood from the battlefield, sacrificing his humanity in order to become an immortal creature of the night.
And that
Neat.
is when the legend was born. But it wasn't anything Dracula was proud of. He grew to despise his monstrous nature and saw it as cowardice. The main reason
Huh.
he hated other vampires so much was that he really hated himself.
Oh.
Oh, that's deep, Wiz. Maybe that's why he always lets his enemies rip into him like a pinata of self-loathing. His crazy OP
Makes sense.
Fix everything anyways.
Millennium would exploit this arrogance,
Okay.
making Alucard into absorbing the soul and abilities of Schrödinger, a German cat boy who controls his own quantum state. This
I've heard.
pseudo-omnipresence and immortality. He can exist everywhere and nowhere, and cannot die so long as he can recognize his own existence.
But because Al had 3 million souls kicking around inside him, Schrödinger couldn't recognize himself anymore, forcing him, and thus Alucard, to fade out of existence.
So Alucard spent 30 years killing the other 3 million souls inside of him until he could return to reality and his master.
Wow.
He undid his own unexistence.
No matter how spoopy the threat,
Impressive.
Alucard will show no mercy.
But okay.
He's just waiting for the day he meets a noble human warrior strong enough to end his unlife for good.
But should he face a fellow monster, a fool who rejected their humanity like himself, he'll let loose the dogs of war, and all hell will sing.
Mm.
I'm a dog. Then you're dog food.
All right. I gotcha.
We've run the
I know what's going down.
possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
Not yet. All right. Okay. So totally get it now. All right. that was the real thing that was sticking with me this whole dang time about how he wasn't really gonna, how this wasn't gonna go, because how could Dio kill Alucard like 3 million times, you know? So I can already tell, because unless they're hiding something, they seem to quantify just about every feat that we need. It's possible that I was too focused in on something to ignore something else, but it seems to me, well, I'm not sure about strength. When it comes to speed, it was like what? Like, it was either 15 or 1500 times faster than sound, which isn't bad, Alucard, but it's not like, what, 13 times light speed for Dio? Or at least he scales to that at least. So, a speed difference of that degree of magnitude basically means that Alucard's going to barely be able to even do anything. And if that's the case, then he's probably going to have to use his super duper level 0 mode. And if he does that, he's basically it's kind of the worst possible thing he could do, because not only is he basically getting rid of his quasical immortality by releasing all of his souls into Zombo form, but Dio's going to not only be fast enough to just outright avoid all that noise, he could just consume the blood ocean, basically, and heal himself up. He's not going to... You're not going to be able to weaken him enough. That's probably how this is going to go down. That's a bummer. Dio is absolutely messed up. And Alucard don't seem like a great guy, but he definitely seems like a better dude, so... It's kind of a huge bummer that he's probably going to lose this. That is a damn shame is what that is. But I think I got that figured out. So, regrettably, it seems Dio's going to be winning this. Is it weird? I kind of wish Alucard was a more terrible person so I wouldn't feel as bad about this. Because, you know, he's like on the far, far end of an anti-hero, basically. Oh, but, okay. I'm feeling pretty good about this one. Let's see what we're going for here. Let's go. Should be fun. There's a fancy old-timey car. Now you ruined his fancy car.
You interrupted my dinner.
Funny, I was just thinking about having mine.
Then by all means, take a bite.
Fight. It really is easy to put those into this. But, oh. Okay, well, rude. But understandable. It's way too fast for bullets to really matter, I would imagine. And time stop, right. Always forget about that part. I shouldn't. It's like his biggest meme.
How oh so very weak, dog. You thought you'd triumph, but it was I.
Dio?
Okay, well. I appreciate the subdiversion. Got all the classic lines, huh? Alright. Oh. Where did you even get that? And what does punching it even accomplish? I don't understand. Punch the goo! I know it's blood, but a very Kool-Aid-esque manner. I think, was it Dio? Yeah, Dio's the guy. Same voice actor, voiced Kool-Aid Man, so it fits.
A real fucking vampire.
Well, even if he doesn't win, he's getting some cool hits in. It's a damn spectacle is what this is. Damn! When the animation team goes all out, they do not miss a beat. It's a good mix. 2D and 3D. Oh! Fighting him with the clock hand! Oh. Because of time. Neat. I like it. Rudith.
You want blood, you disgusting monster? Choke on your own.
Rude.
I want to rule the world.
Ooh, boy.
Face me, Vampire King. Bow to your new god. The bird of Hermes is my name, eating my wings to make me tame.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Well, goddamn, you can't say that wasn't a cool-ass way to go.
Alucard pulled out all the stops, but like the bloody drink, it was in vain. Finger guns.
He may have been the king of the vampires in Helsing, but Dio had everything he needed to clip the bird of Hermes' wings.
Alucard's strategy in most fights is to heal from an opponent's attacks until
Yeah, I didn't even bring that part up. That not a great, not a great strategy.
Really have any openings, and Alucard wasn't nearly as strong or as fast to compensate.
Alucard could survive crashing that jet and move 1,500 times faster than sound. But scaling from Stone Free and Silver Chariot, the world could punch relativistic meteors and move 1,500 times.
Right, I don't even know about the
faster than
meteors.
light. That would make Dio nearly 40,000 times stronger and 800,000 times faster.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Alucard couldn't even see or hurt the world in the first place.
Right.
He's not a stand user. And since stone mask vampires from JoJo aren't weak to holy weapons like Helsing vampires are, Al's guns were more or less dead weight.
Plus,
Damn.
Alucard just had no way to get past the time stop. Even if he did somehow, Dio could just freeze him on contact.
And considering Dio has taken punches from Star Platinum, Al would have had trouble doing damage even if he got the chance.
That makes sense.
Dio's far greater speed and power meant that, given enough time, he could realistically kill Alucard 3 million times in quick succession. Without any viable options for
Oof.
or openings to exploit, Alucard's soul-based regeneration meant he would run out of lives eventually, and level 0 only sped up that process.
Yeah.
Sure, that army's nothing to scoff at, but consider the time Dio's eye beam split those huge-ass clouds.
Estimating the size of the clouds and the speed at which
Don't
they
mess
moved,
with breaking clouds, people.
but an energy of over 10 megatons of TNT.
There you go.
Enough to wipe out Alucard's army in one go, leaving him vulnerable.
Oof.
Just like when this other vampire, Walter, could have killed him by piercing his heart. Alucard's even admitted it himself.
Hell, Alucard's army is filled with blood.
Ye-
You know, that thing
You
that
do.
he uses to heal? But Wiz, what about Schrodinger? With his powers, Al can't die unless he chooses to.
While Schrodinger's quantum immortality makes him impossible to kill normally, it is literally part of the story that Alucard cannot have Schrodinger's abilities and his greater array of powers at the same time, or else he'll no longer exist. We can't give him both Schrodinger and his standard powers without breaking the lore and rules of the character.
Okay.
Even if we did, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't help him kill Dio at all, so at best it'd be a stalemate. Until Dio hypnotizes Alucard, asks him about his powers, and forces him to eject Schrody like the rest of his soul.
Oh.
Shocking though it may be.
Well, I thought because they could both hypnotize, it just canceled the whole thing out.
And uniquely devastating abilities wore Alucard down until the
That's a damn shame.
no lives left.
Oh well.
Alucard got Dio-owned.
Boomstick, you tell the worst puns in the world.
That's
Ah!
right, and you're just gonna have to Dio with it. And hey, wait a minute, that was a pun. That's my territory. We talked about this.
The winner is Dio.
Yes, yes, yes. Good for you. Good for you.
Thank you guys so much for watching the show. We really hope you enjoyed that episode of Death
That was a good one.
For something else to watch,
Considering I really didn't have a horse in the race, like I keep saying. That was good. That was fun. I liked it.
It's really fun.
Animation team.
That'll also work for the show.
Damn, you guys are good.
Thanks.
Luis and all y'alls, seriously. We got Akuma. Yeah. He fighting Shao Kahn? He fighting Shao Kahn. Oh. Spare a thought for those of the people out there that legitimately thought that that dude was going to be fighting, I don't even know how to pronounce his name, Arao from Fist of the North Star. A lot of people really seem to think that that was how that was going to go. No. It was going to be Shao Kahn. It was always going to be Shao Kahn. All right, well. I don't really have a ton to say, really. That was just a real good episode all around. I feel like you can always figure a really good hallmark, a bench to know if an episode is really good is if you're not really all that super into either franchise that the characters are from, but you can still come out of there going, damn, that was a good-ass episode. And that was a good-ass episode, so mad respect. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. As always, just good research. Oh, I can't say a couple things. I want to say that the writing it felt snappier than it normally does. I don't know if that's really quantifiable in any way, but Boomstick, I don't know. I feel like he brought his A game on this one. He said he had a good number of big zingers there. I liked them, especially in Dio's analysis primarily. That was really good, and I wish I was. I want to be an animator, and I truly, legitimately wish I was capable of 1,000th of what just one of the people on that animation team is capable of, because dang, it's cool. So, yeah, solid. Great for Halloween. It's probably gonna be, I don't know. Is it good enough to overthrow episodes with characters I was more invested in? I'm not sure. I'd have to think about it. Maybe I'll actually do a ranking list of this season's death battles when it comes out. If you're interested in that, let me know. Next time, we have Akuma and Shao Kahn. Frankly, these are the characters who should have fought each other in the first place, because way back in episode 2, they had Akuma fight Shang Tsung, and I want to say season 2, they had Shao Kahn fight M. Bison. Those were basically bugs in the road for Akuma and Khan. These are the ones that should be going up against each other. But what I know, to the best of my knowledge, I don't believe Shao Kahn can consume souls, but I don't know if he has specific protections on the souls inside of him. And obviously the Raging Demon is a huge factor in that, and I'd probably say that, then again, I'm trying to figure, Shao Kahn's thousands of years old. Does that mean he has better combat experience than Akuma, who has more specialized training and does it longer? I mean, he probably has better formal training, but not long-term training. There's a lot of variables in that, actually. I'll have to think that one over, but we'll talk about that more in about 2 weeks when that finally comes out. Hope you guys had a fantastic, wonderful time. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.